We back. Well, you already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Well, obviously the Raiders, as of right now, haven't hired their head coach. But I think we're getting close. We are getting close. So make sure to, like I said, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels. Salute to the. We still gonna call you the night crew because we know what it is, man. We know where it all started, man. I know we doing the evening time. We're trying something new. I know a lot of people liked it last week, so we're just gonna keep it going. But salute to the night crew, the swing crew, the evening crew, whatever you want to call it. Appreciate everybody coming through. We see y'all pulling up, man. Jack in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Says, what's up, Raider Nation? Daryl in the building. So Raiders still searching for their head coach? Yes, they are. As of right now. It's going down to the wire. We'll get into who we feel like is the favorite, who could possibly be. I mean, it's down to two. Down to two guys, man. Webb and Kubiak are the two guys. But we'll get into Sean Payton. Sean Payton had pull some up his sleeve as far as making a move at offensive coordinator. Could be a chess move on his end, so that's going to be interesting. Salute to everybody pulling up, man. Upstate New York, man. What's going on? Appreciate you pulling up. I know, man. No McDaniel, man. I made my case last week. I thought it made a whole lot of sense. I know a lot of people, when they see McDaniel, they don't look at a guy that visually looks like a head coach to them. You know what I mean? He looks like more of a supporting guy, a guy like people like to put him in that, oh, he's a great OC. But in reality, he's had more success than the guys that are great OCs but not good head coaches, technically speaking. But that's a whole different conversation. 2 playoff appearances in 4 years. And, obviously he's won his fair amount of share games. And, you can get into the talent that he's played with. But, hey, man, he did it with Tua at quarterback. I'm not going to lie. He maximized Tua. But, it is what it is. He is now the Chargers OC. So the Raiders in the league better be ready for that. It's going to be interesting to see how that combination of Jim Harbaugh and McDaniel is going to look like, because I know Jim is going to be, he's a physical, run the football type of guy. So it's going to be like a kind of two worlds kind of clashing together. You got a guy who wants to establish the run, which McDaniel has no problem doing, but he kind of does it in his own way. But, you got McDaniel, who's a little bit more, he's a creative, kind of get everybody involved, make it easy on the quarterback, get some easy completions for Herbert. I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does with Herbert, because Herbert has more talent than Tua, that's to say the least. So it's going to be interesting to see like what parts of the offense that's going to be, going to be utilized more with Herbert at quarterback. I'm sure a lot of more downfield, attacking downfield will be probably emphasis compared to what they had with Tua, because we all know he doesn't have like the strongest arm in the world, but he was accurate and had some good anticipation, which, McDaniel was able to incorporate in the offense. But we'll see, man. That's a whole different conversation. I know no one wants to really talk about that right there, but that is a big move for the Chargers. So it is what it is, man. Salute, man. What's good? I know, Brim, we up here early, man. It's the early show, man. It's the early show. I guess it's not the early show. I'm not gonna call it the early show. It's the earlier show, because you know what I mean. If we were doing this crack at dawn, then I'll be like, yeah, this is the early show. But the evening show, evening, late afternoon,
Evening.
Oh, depending on where you at, we know we got viewers from everywhere, man. We got people from the East Coast around the world. You know what I mean? So, depending on where you're watching this, that's what the show is gonna be for you at that time when you're watching it. But I appreciate everybody coming through. My guy, one of my mods in the building, man. Raider Mike in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Was good. DK, one of the kings of mods here. Salute. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah. We got to get our guy, man. Who do you think it is? I think the Raiders want Kubiak.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Kubiak is going to become a head coach this year. He might choose to go back to Seattle and, do kind of go the Ben Johnson route, where he's just going to take his time, because and this is one of the red flags or one of the things that I looked at and thought it was like, he's only been at OC 1 year at a time. So he was with the Saints last year. He got fired before the season ended. You know what I mean? And then the year prior, he was with the 49ers.
Right.
Before that, I think he might have been with the Vikings.
He was with the Vikings.
The
whole staff got fired.
The whole staff got fired there. So there hasn't been any type of consistency where I'm sure his family is like, hey, man, can you just pick a place and just chill? Yeah. So, he might take that route. And then, some people are like conspiracy theorists, like he's a Kubiak, and Kubiak has a relationship with the Shanahans, and the Shanahans' relationship and, history with the Raiders haven't been good. Specifically, we're talking about Mike Shanahan and Al Davis. So maybe some people are like, hey, maybe that family's like, stay away from the Raiders. This is not the franchise to go to. Maybe it's some of that possibly. I don't want to say that for sure. But I did see that report that, Seattle's going to try everything possible to keep him. I think if they win a Super Bowl, I think it's almost kind of guaranteed that he comes to the Raiders. Like, why would you your stock is going to be the highest right now.
Yeah, I mean,
but if they lose the Super Bowl,
could it be much higher? If it be much higher, then if win or lose, I don't think his stock is going to drop because they lose the Super Bowl. I think his stock is at its highest right now.
Yeah,
and because they're still they're still because the possibility of him coming back next year, and if he goes back next year, there's always the chance that the offense doesn't perform quite as well.
Yeah, or
JSN takes a step back, or health plays a factor. Right now it was like a damn near perfect storm. Like for the most part, everybody was healthy. Sam Darnold played well. JSN played out of his mind. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Walker had the best season he's had since he was a rookie. I think his rookie season was his best season. This is his second best season. Zach Charbonnet basically stayed, true to form. He's been consistent. So this is his stock is high right now. And he's coming off a good Sam Darnold year. And we know Sam Darnold is mercurial as a quarterback. So Sam Darnold could flip that switch and turn into the Sam Darnold we saw the last 2 games in Minnesota, rather than the Sam Darnold that we saw, the first 15 or whatever. So that can be a situation there. And if that happens, then his stock drops. So it's one of those things where you kind of got to strike while the iron is hot. Because we saw basically everywhere he started out pretty hot. The Saints, he started out pretty hot, then he fizzled. The Vikings, it was kind of mixed bag. I think if offense finished exactly at middle of the pack, like 14th, 15th. With the 49ers, obviously it was Kyle Shanahan running the show. He was the OC. So, how much he had to do there, it remains to be seen. But so right now, bro, you need to get nobody was thinking about Kubiak last year as a head coach. That's not a name, and he was a free agent. So anybody could have hired him for nothing. It wouldn't have been no wait, no playing games, no playing footsies, no crazy negotiations. If you wanted him as your head coach last year, you could have had him. No problem. No obstacles, no obstructions. Nobody gave a damn about him last year. So So right now, while the heat is on him, you better capitalize.
Yeah. And look, like I said before, man, was good. Appreciate everybody pulling up. My guy PTS, man, my guy Chris in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. He says, my dogs, y'all my time zone.
In honor of that video, you know. Anybody that remember that video? You remember that. You remember that. You remember
that. That's funny. But yeah, man, like I said before, man, a lot of these candidates, when I looked at them, they all have like their strengths and weaknesses, and they have their level of risk. And you know where I was at? I was kind of on the McDaniel hype train. I'm like, all right, you know what? What's the priority right now? Development, okay. Development, okay. What are the Raiders going to do with the number one pick? Oh, quarterback. So right now, the number one priority for this Raiders team is to develop the quarterback position. At the very least, that needs to happen. So I kind of was like, all right, we know what we're going to get from McDaniel. You know what we know from majority of the league and the Raiders. What they do, what they're good at is they love hiring and they love firing coaches. But at the very least, whoever they hire, let them serve a purpose. So you know what? I guess this might be a compliment to Pete Carroll because he served a purpose. He served a purpose, and the Raiders got the number one pick. Thank you, Pete. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? Now,
I'm gonna say thank you. He served a purpose.
he served his purpose. Hey, man, appreciate you, Pete. Appreciate you, Pete. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, that's the approach that I'm kind of looking at. I'm looking at it like, you know what? At the very least, like, I don't want Mendoza development to mess up. I don't want it to be no excuses. I want to make sure we develop him to his highest potential. So then even if the coach leaves and they have to replace him, it's more of a matter of, oh, this guy just hit his ceiling with the team. We need a guy that's going to take us to the next level because we got one of the best young quarterbacks in Mendoza. We got one of the best, you know, so on and so forth, the talent on the football team. That's why I was going with McDaniel. You know, some people kind of looked at it, was like, McDaniel's this. He doesn't look like a coach. He's not a leader of man, da-da-da-da. You know, we already had that conversation already. Davis Webb, huge risk. But I will say this. Man, the respect that a lot of people are giving him from a lot of different places. Sean Payton, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to lose him. He does not want to lose a Davis Webb. So, you know, literally hire him after one conversation. Literally, he hired him after one. He was like, he was so impressed. Like, yeah, you're like, hey, you're the QB coach. Like, you got Cliff Kingsbury saying, like, I would want if my son was a quarterback, I would want my son to be coached by Davis Webb. So, you know, there is a little bit of intrigue. There's a little bit of intrigue.
But know what that Cliff Kingsbury, that's kind of like, I don't want to use the term. It's like self-sucking because who was Davis Webb's QB coach? Who taught Davis Webb? It was Cliff Kingsbury. So he's basically saying, like, yeah, you know, I did such a good job that Davis Webb. That's what Cliff Kingsbury's doing right there. Like, I did such a fantastic job imparting this knowledge onto him. I would want him to teach my son. That's what that kind of strikes.
Yeah,
you know, that as to me.
My point is that, like, he must be killing the interview process. They're really impressed by him to the point where, like, people are looking at him and like, yeah, this is gonna be head coach. Like, we can see it. Like, but it's a matter of like, man, it is risky though. It's kind of a boom or bust situation because you're kind of betting on his potential to be this guy, this Sean McVay, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't want to compare him to these guys, but you're betting on him to be that guy at head coach. But then if it falls flat on its face, he's never been a play caller. He's never been a coordinator. You know what I mean? So there is a level of risk there. That's why I'm like, that's the thing with Davis Webb. But they're so impressed by him. Yeah.
It's boom or bust.
Boom or bust. They're so impressed with him. He's down. They're down to the final two candidates, and he's one of the two. They literally, I think they completed the interview last night. I'm not sure if he's still in town. You know what I mean? They might be making a decision on head coach soon. Who knows? Clint Kubiak. Clint has just been a one-year wonder. You know, he's kind of jumped around, you know, from coordinator to coordinator position, and he's never really stayed in one spot more than 1 year. I think prior to him becoming an OC, like he was a passing game coordinator. Yeah. He stayed in, like, I think I seen him. He was in Denver way back when for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But which is kind of interesting because I think there might be a connection between Kubiak and Spytek.
Oh, possibly when Spytek started. Spytek did start in with the Denver organization.
Yep, when Spytek was with Denver, I think I think that might be a connection with him. But I think if he gets the job, it's not going to be just because of the connection. It's like they feel like he's the guy to be. And I'm not gonna lie. Hey, someone said like, "Hey, is Kubiak gonna get a second interview?" And someone was like, "Hey, his second interview was the championship game." So
yeah, somewhat.
You know what I mean? Because they had the virtual, and then like just seeing what he was able to, man, like he's had a great year from a play calling standpoint. He has Seattle's offense is like top 3 in the NFL. You know, all the good stuff that you want to say. It's just the only thing with him is like, all right, hopefully it's not a situation where he's a good coordinator but not a great coach. Yeah. And then has he had sustained success? We're just nitpicking. You know, when we're looking at it.
No, but nobody in the cycle outside of McDaniel really had as offensive coordinator, like off calling plays. Nobody in the cycle really had sustained success.
Yeah,
I think of.
But I will give him this though. He's proven to be a good play caller.
Yeah. Oh,
this year. He's checking that box. And even like we looked at the year he had with Saints, he kind of hit the ground running with the Saints. It's just
hit the ground running, but then you know.
Yeah, and then you kind of look at what happened.
ACL, right? Hit the ground running towards ACL 3 games in. So.
No. No, but look. If you look at what happened with the Saints, though, they had injuries to Alvin Kamara. I think Derek Carr went down. The offensive line was hurt. So there was a little bit of like, all right, excuse kind of built in for him, you know, there. Yeah. But I did think it was weird that they fired him before the season ended. Like, that was like...
Exactly.
That was hella... It was kind of like unnecessary. Like, why did they even...
They didn't need to do it. And Mickey Loomis has more power in New Orleans organization than anybody. Like he has carte blanche to do whatever the hell he wants to. So he's a guy that's been around the block and he can see like, okay, we've had injuries and all this stuff. So if it was a situation where he thought that Clint was a like a net positive, that's a guy you want to keep around in the organization. That's a guy, okay, bam, this is your chance to audition or whatnot. So the fact that they relieved him of his duties earlier, that kind of, you know, that's, I don't want to say it's a red flag, but it's just curious.
Mm-hmm. Sean Payton doesn't want us to have Webb. It could be possible. But I think, at the end of the day, like, if the Raiders, now I threw this out here. I threw this like as a possibility. Maybe, they said, it's unrelated, but maybe Sean Payton firing his longtime assistants in Lombardi, 15 years plus assistant, offensive assistant. We all know who calls the plays, Sean Payton, but it's a guy that he's worked with for years. Him firing him was because maybe the Raiders were trying to set up a situation where Clint was the head coach and, you know, Davis Webb, who's a QB coach, would be the OC for the Raiders. That, like,
possibility.
You know, because the timing of it. That's all. I'm just questioning the timing of it. I know that, you know, Denver was in the playoffs last weekend, so maybe like, all right, well, it's not that crazy of timing because they just literally lost this weekend. But I was just thinking about it. Maybe that's a possibility. But either way, I don't think if the Raiders had to choose between Kubiak or Webb and they won Webb, it's not going to stop the Raiders from hiring Webb as a head coach. Because he's only going to become, if anything, if he accepts an OC job, it's only an OC job. It's an offensive coordinator job.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a possibility, or it could be a possibility where Sean Payton is saying, look, don't take the Raiders job, or don't take, I think it's just us and the Cardinals and the Browns. Like, don't take these other jobs. These are like bad jobs, bad organizations. You only get one shot at this. You don't want to mess up your career. Stay here, be my OC, and then wait for a better opportunity. And, you know, obviously it will come with a significant pay raise, you know, some more responsibility and a little bit more exposure. Your name is already out there. but this will give you opportunity to not have to settle for a job that you don't think is necessarily the right fit, or that I don't think is necessarily the right fit for you at this particular time. And then you think back to back in the day, hotshot offensive coordinator Sean Payton. Who was his first head coaching job supposed to be with?
It was supposed to be with the Raiders.
Exactly. And then what happened?
The Cowboys came out of nowhere. And
yep. Jerry invited him to that wine cellar. Basically, I think Bill Parcells had something to do with it as well. But at the end of the day, Jerry he made the call and had the meeting with them and convinced Sean Payton, who was basically had already accepted the job, changed his mind and stayed on with the Cowboys. And obviously that turned into him taking the New Orleans job later and eventually winning the Super Bowl. But so maybe Sean Payton is speaking from some experience. Like, look, the Raiders job ain't the job you want, brother. Stay far away from that organization. You see what they've done the last 3, and this is what we point back to with all the stuff that's going on in the past. Look at the last 3 years. Do you want to put yourself in this position? I can't offer you a head coaching position, but what I can offer you is a higher position here in this organization, more responsibilities, opportunity to maybe call some plays, for sure during the preseason, as well during the regular season. We can work out something there, and I'm gonna offer you some stability, and that's something that the Raiders can't give you. They won't give you, because look at the last 3 guys they've had there. So I think that was a real conversation they've had, and now they're giving Davis Webb something to really think about, because do you really want to start your career off as a 30-year-old guy with a very flawed roster and a rookie QB, a disgruntled superstar, a potential defensive end that you guys may be moving on from, a 6th-round pick last year that didn't live up to expectations. The 1st-round pick before that, has been a failure as well. So like stacking all that stuff on top of each other, is this the job you really want to take?
Yeah, I think it says a lot that he wants to keep him. It says a lot about Davis Webb and how much he values him as a coach. But I'm not gonna lie, from Davis Webb's perspective, like, it's sometimes the NFL sometimes is a what have you done for me lately league. And if he's offense coordinator and they have like the same offensive performance, because who's going to be the play caller? It's going to be Sean Payton. And if they're going to have the same offensive performance that they had this year with this Denver offense, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand a Kubiak going back a second year. Just building his, resume as a coordinator for him to pick wherever he wants to go. I mean, technically he could do that now. I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, he's been in the playoffs, so it's not like he's been out here interviewing with everybody. But with only 2 or 3 other teams that have a opening, only one, I would say the Raiders probably have the most attractive spot compared to the Cardinals I
wouldn't say all that.
But compared to the Cardinals?
I wouldn't say all that, yeah. I mean, you got just as much. Only difference between the Raiders and the Cardinals is the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick. That's the only difference. And then I could argue that the Cardinals, they probably got more pieces on, more young guys on the defensive side of the ball. They got probably more pieces on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at, they got Trey McBride, they got Michael Wilson, and they got Marvin Harrison Jr. So
who they might trade?
Huh?
I've heard rumors.
May trade. They may trade. I mean, depends on the coach, but they got 3 perimeter guys that you can conceivably say, hey, I could build my offense around. The Raiders have 1 perimeter guy in Brock, and then 1 guy in the backfield that they hope can build on, some of what he did last year in a few games.
Yeah, but the quarterback's position is important though. So if whoever the candidate is, if they're looking at it from I get to pick, I get to draft, I get to be there in the beginning of Mendoza's career and mold him into what I want him to be. I think that
depends on what they feel about Mendoza, though.
If they're not hiring Mendoza, then okay, then it's not okay. It's not gonna work out.
Like, it's different strokes for different folks. There's some people that will be like, hey, I think I can make him into the best quarterback in the league. And there'll probably be some people that be like, I don't think this guy's gonna fit in my system or fit in my offense. So I'm not willing to hitch my my fortunes to, him or to whoever's out there as a free agent.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the case because I think if as soon as they said that, they'll tell them just get out of here. Just don't ever come back.
Oh,
They won't even continue to interview. They won't even continue to interview because I think
I won't say that.
because from the Raiders' perspective, okay, I think the Raiders they're going to want to draft a quarterback. So I think in the midst of interviewing someone, you're going to ask them, how do you feel about Mendoza? And if the Raiders are high on him and then they're not high on him, then why would they even continue the conversation? This is not gonna work.
I think it depends on how heavily the Raiders weigh their options. There are two options: either draft Mendoza or trade the pick.
Yeah.
And it depends on how heavily the Raiders weigh one versus the other. If they're 100% sold on Mendoza and the coach isn't, hey, it's pleasure. Hey, enjoy the Vegas Strip. The Venetian has a very nice salad bar. But if they're open to the possibility, okay, so what is your plan? What would you like to do in this situation if we were to give you these resources? If they're open to that, then that's a different conversation.
Yeah. To be honest, I think Kubiak is a great OC, but I don't know if he's ready to be a head coach. See, it's fine. I really don't want to lose Kubiak. So I think that's the reason why you're saying what you're saying is because you don't want to lose Kubiak. But is he not ready for a coach? It's possible, but it's in today's NFL, man. Like if you're a great offensive mind, like you're gonna get plucked up. Like people are gonna want to make you into a head coach really quick compared to other position coaches. Like for example, if you're a defensive minded coach, it's probably gonna take a lot of time. It's almost like a defensive player winning the MVP or another position in football winning the MVP outside of quarterback. They have to do something like crazy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sure. That might be that actually it might be harder. I think a defensive coach has a better chance of becoming a head coach than
a defensive player won an MVP for damn sure. I think the only person ever is Taylor.
Or not even a defensive player, just a non-quarterback. I think it's hard for a non-quarterback to win MVP. Just period.
Nowadays, yeah. Nowadays, in the past, you can see like running backs and stuff do it, but nowadays, yeah, like MVP is reserved for quarterbacks. Offensive Player of the Year is reserved for like other offensive positions.
Like
defensive players never gonna get it.
But
I think LT is the only person to ever do it.
But a running back winning it, he would have to have a historic season.
Yeah, he had to put up like crazy numbers.
Like when AP won it, he had an historic season.
Yeah, exactly.
I think when AP won it, that was the year where he came back from the ACL injury.
LT won it too. I think LT had a crazy year too. I think that's when he broke the touchdown record.
Broke the touchdown record, yeah. So
what's crazy is that I think like Priest Holmes had like during that time when they won it, like Priest Holmes was putting up crazy stupid numbers too, but like he was just being he just got overshadowed each time. But he was putting up stupid numbers.
Priest Holmes
probably had
the
greatest 3-year stretch of any running back ever, but it was just never the best because you had those guys.
Yeah, man. Salute, man. Salute to everybody pulling up, man. Make sure to like the video, man. Make sure to clock in is what we like to say, man. Clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Did you watch any of the championship games?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, the Denver one got nasty. Denver versus New England. That game got
10-7, bro. That's like a score from 1962, man. And
yeah, man, that snow, like it started out cool too. It started out like it's annoying, and then by the end of the game, it was just like got just ugly, got real ugly. Stidham wasn't looking good, man.
Davis Webb, maybe Davis Webb was like coaching him up.
I Stidham looked good here. Like I think when we were still doing the show at that time, we both wanted to keep Stidham at least to see what you had. Obviously, he left and went to Denver, but. He's been in that system for like 3 years, and the entire time since before Sean Payton was there, right? So he's been in that system the entire time, and he kind of knows the system front and back. He was a former 5-star recruit to Auburn too. I want to say, ironically, he was at Auburn before Bo Nix was there. So he was a former 5-star recruit. He had arm talent. He has mobility. He has what it takes to be a successful quarterback. He just never really put it together in the NFL. He did the same thing for us when he came out against the Niners and was balling. And obviously, the next week against the Chiefs, didn't have the same level of success. So like he can surprise you. You give him the opportunity, he'll surprise you. But Yeah, that game was just the game was ugly. The game was ugly.
DK says, I read Webb is still in the building. I received that, like, there was that notification where the interview was completed last night. The Davis Webb interview.
He's still
Yeah, so if he's still in the building, that means they're working out contract details.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The interview, unless the interview's continuing from yesterday, but why would they send a notification saying that it was completed yesterday? If it was an ongoing interview for the following day. But yeah, that game was super boring. Sean Payton should have probably kicked that field goal. At least would have made it an overtime game. But either way, man, I think that Rams game was good though. Rams-Seattle game, whew.
Yeah, right. So yeah,
Man, Clint Kubiak, man, he put on a show, man. He was calling. Yeah. He called a great game. Man, it was a fun game to watch. Your boy Mike LaFleur, I think he might be the next head coach for the Cardinals.
That's what I was hearing.
It's rumors.
I mean, and him and McVay, they put on a great show. I mean, like outside that muff punt, like that was what essentially cost them the game. Was that muff punt? Like they don't muff that punt. Seattle probably doesn't win that game. So, I think both offenses did a hell of a job against some pretty good defenses. I think Seattle has a better defense than the Rams, but the Rams defense ain't nothing to sneeze at either, especially that front four. So both teams did their thing. And if Michael Floyd goes to the Cardinals, that'd be interesting because he's in the same division. So he'll be that's an in-division hire. So he'll be competing against Seattle, be competing against the Rams too. So that's gonna be tough.
Well, Jay trying to bring out the movie conversation. Hey, I heard Sinners, man. They doing their thing with they were nominated for a lot of.
Yeah,
I think they broke
17 or something like that.
Yeah, they broke the record for nomination. Yeah. Damn, I didn't know it was gonna be that good. Like, damn, they got a lot of praise. Did you see that though? Yeah. You see that coming? Don't lie though.
Did I see it come? I saw it getting praised. I thought like motion picture of the year. I thought
it was good. I thought it was good.
I thought like a costume design, cinematography. I mean, I don't remember everything they got nominated for, but in terms of like original screenplay, motion picture of the year, the costume design, like I figured those were, and music. I figured if anything to do with music, they was gonna get as well. But all the little weirdo stuff, like I don't know, like cinematography, they have stuff like that. Like I don't be paying attention to that stuff, man. Like that's like nerd type stuff people getting into.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought the Bills were gonna go down to the wire in trying to hire their head coach. I think most likely I thought in my mind, it was gonna be like maybe Davis Webb, or even, go after or possibly go after Kubiak. But realistically, I don't think that was gonna happen because they would have to wait after the Super Bowl just to interview him. Yeah. It's just like way too long. So
yeah, they didn't do it prior.
Yeah. And then for them to hire Joe Brady, and I know the Raiders were interviewing Joe Brady, but I was like, it just didn't feel right that the Bills didn't want to hire Joe Brady and then the Raiders hired Joe Brady. Like that just didn't. Yeah. I don't even want that. I don't even want to think about that. So I'm glad that he was able to just get that Bills job and get them out the way. So, because I feel like on paper, obviously that would be the number one job available just because of Josh Allen. You know what I mean? From a quarterback standpoint, but since the timing of them letting go their coach, it kind of threw them off as far as interviewing. Because that's why they were interviewing random people, because that's the only people they could really interview was the people that were available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Allen had put his thumb on the scale in terms of wanting Joe Brady. I heard that was the guy he identified who he wanted. So once you're a star quarterback, MVP guy that led you to the playoffs, once that happens, it's almost a foregone conclusion, especially after they got rid of McDermott. Like they got rid of McDermott for a reason. So especially that late in the process, they essentially have a target that they want. I never figured Davis Webb was the guy.
Yeah.
If Davis Webb, maybe as an OC, maybe that's why they were looking at him as an OC. But I wouldn't think, like, you don't trust a Ferrari to a first time driver. Like, you got a Lambo sitting in your driveway. You don't throw the keys to a 16-year-old and like, here you go, Like, you're gonna be a great driver one day. Like, nah, bro, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm gonna give it to somebody that's at least been here, right? That's been around, that knows the lay of the land, even though it's his first opportunity as well. But he's been in the organization, so he's gonna have a lot better of a chance to have success than the guy who's outside the organization and never been offensive coordinator, and now he's going to be a head coach for the very first time. I guess that's just a lot to ask.
Yeah. Hey, I just seen something right now. The Jets reached out to John Gruden about the idea of joining Aaron Glenn's staff. According to multiple sources, Gruden wasn't interested in the job.
Yeah, of course not, man. John Gruden's a head coach, bro. John Gruden he ain't gonna do that, man.
Oh, you don't think
he'll help?
You don't think he wouldn't even accept the offensive coordinator position anywhere?
Hell no. Why would he? That's like a hell no. Like, you don't. Once you get to a certain level as a coach,
Yeah,
you don't take that step back.
you don't go backwards. Yeah,
you do not go backwards. He's think whatever you want of him. He's probably gonna be he's probably already cemented himself as a Hall of Fame coach. You know, for years he was the most coveted head coach in the open market that nobody can get until Mark Davis slapped a 10-year, $10 million a year contract in front of him and convinced him to come out of, step away from ESPN and come to the Raiders. But nah, like you know, he's not gonna lower the standards for that.
Michael G says fire Deuce Gruden. Hey man, hey Deuce doing a better job than the 49ers trainers, because players getting hurt left and right. Unless you want to believe in that conspiracy theory.
Exactly. Hey, he don't got the electronic transmissions.
Yeah.
But nah, him and AJ Knight will look, you need to go, bro. But actually, this year the Raiders weren't hurt that much, from what I hear. Like, they had one of the least number of players on IR.
Mm-hmm.
We just had no depth, and we was just trash everywhere.
So it's gonna be the Patriots and the Rams. Who do you got?
And the Seahawks.
Oh, and the Seahawks. I wanted the Rams to get in, because I already knew.
Yeah, I did not want the Rams. Yeah,
because I knew they wanted Kubiak. When I was watching it, I was like, yeah, bro, like it's Kubiak and whoever else they've labeled as the number 2. In this case, is Davis Webb. So now, like, it's just the timing of it. Because a part of me, yeah, like I like that the Raiders are doing their due diligence, but I'm not gonna lie, right now, man, like the time is ticking, because some of these assistant coaches are getting hired, and some of the good ones. I think Dwayne Ledford, I think they're saying that it's a good chance he's gonna be. Hey, Jesse Minter, by the way. Jesse Minter, one of the biggest questions I had with him as a coaching candidate was, what was his staff gonna look like? And I think they requested to interview the offensive coordinator for the Bears. Is Doyle, who is like, according to some people, he's going to be the next guy up. Like, he's like the protege of Ben Johnson or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice look. And on top of that, Dwayne Ledford, he's the offensive line coach from Atlanta last season. He's like one of the he's one of the best offensive line football coaches available right now. And I actually wanted the Raiders. Him, I think Brasillo's available. If anybody remembers Brasillo, Carmen Brasillo, he's
us and with the Giants.
Yeah, that could be a possibility maybe, but some of these guys, man, the longer we taking to hire a coach, the longer, the harder it's going to be to put together a really solid staff. And that matters too. You know what I mean? You want to talk about developing the players on, one of the biggest issues from last year was because of, some guys that we felt like probably shouldn't have gotten the job. You know what I mean? It should have been someone else more qualified.
Exactly.
But
not that.
So hopefully
that was a choice.
That was a choice. But I'm just saying, like, the longer they wait, it's going to be harder to get. That's why I'm like, man, we got to wait. If it's going to be Kubiak, it's like, damn, they're going to have to wait until after the Super Bowl in order to figure their stuff out.
Yeah, another 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Basically.
And it's a process too. They have to go through the Rooney Rules, and like they have to go through that whole process of like, bringing in candidates and then like figuring out who they want, and then seeing who's interested and contacting people. It's like, man, like some of these teams that hired the coaches, they kind of have like the leg up as far as starting that whole that process to add assistants on their staff. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know about that. I don't even know what that is. we might end up with Gary Kubiak. Man, I hope not, man. That would be so ugly, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably
you might do that. You might do some nonsense like that. Make
If-
Gary Kubiak offensive coordinator.
would you watch a game next season if Gary Kubiak was the head coach?
I watched Pete Carroll, old ass coach. I can't, how much worse can it be, bro?
And
How much worse can it be?
man, that's crazy. Sean McDermott. I think Sean McDermott's probably gonna take the year off before he.
I think Mike Tomlin taking the year off too. Mike Tomlin might just be like, I'm good, bro. I'm straight.
It sounds like it. It sounds like salute, man. Salute to my guy Rundown, man. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you head over to subscribe to my guys PTS, Chris, Protect the Shield, and Rundown in the building, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Salute. They're gonna give him the OC job. They're just working out the contract. We talking about Webb?
Talking about Webb, yeah.
You know, it's possible. It's possible. We'll see. If my thing is the Raiders better like figure out the situation with Kubiak. If Kubiak is over here, like, I don't know, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. We can't like, and this is the problem that I noticed with the Raiders. Since, Brady has come in the building, we've been trying to go after the number one guy, and we've been stuck there not having a backup. I feel like this year it's been a little bit better because they've been interviewing a lot of different candidates.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hopefully they're not too stuck on Kubiak to find out that he's not the guy, and then they can't hire whoever their number two guy is, or whoever was close for them to be. Because if we hire if we hire like Vance Joseph, or I don't know who, you know what I mean? Like, and we could have hired McDaniel. Like, it would have been a better. It's just.
Yeah, it's a musical chair situation where we're trying to wait for one particular person. If that's what our like strategy was to identify this one guy and lock in on him and hope for the best in terms of that candidate, then like we've got dealt the worst possible hand, because like they advanced all the way to the Super Bowl. Maybe the hope was they lose early in the playoffs and now we can hire our guy. But if Kubiak was a target, and it's looking more and more like Kubiak is the target because every other candidate they now have the opportunity to hire. So Kubiak is the only guy they can't hire until after the Super Bowl. So like if that is the case, then like we just got dealt the worst possible hand because they advanced to the big game. So now we have to wait an additional 2 weeks. And then, as you said, all these other jobs are getting filled, and then they're reaching out to their contacts, hiring the best available offensive defensive coordinators. Not only that, but the best possible staff. You got to think about like your position coaches and your staff. Those people are getting snapped up quickly. So it could leave a situation where it puts your head coach in a very precarious situation. Also, like the Shrine Bowl was last week, Senior Bowl starting already this week. So that puts you behind the 8 ball in terms of scouting, because your head coach isn't in the building to give the feedback in terms of kind of players he likes, stylistically, body type, all that kind of stuff. So now you're behind on that as well, not only with the staff and the coordinators, but with the scouting department, because like, who do you like? Like, what kind of players do you like? What system are we running? Like, we don't know any of that stuff yet.
Yeah, no, facts. Man, if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody pulling up and watching the show, man. We're going live on both our channels. So if you just joined us for the first time, definitely subscribe to both channels, and definitely clock in, as we like to say in this channel, man. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, hype the video too, man. Everybody watching the replay, if you guys watch the replay, rewatch it, whatever the case may be, make sure to hype the video. That's an option that you can go ahead and do, as well as leave comments and all that good stuff, man. We appreciate the support. We like doing this, man. So anything helps, man. Stuff like that really helps. That being said, Super Omicron. All right, for sure. Super Omicron said Raiders should take that Sean Payton comment to heart. I guess it's a good segue, because that's what I was talking to you about. Flag on a play. I don't know if you heard the comments by Sean Payton. they asked him about Davis Webb possibly becoming a head coach for the Raiders, and this is what he had to say, man. Oh yeah, it's it's that time, man. It's flag on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
So, like I said, Sean Payton was asked about Davis Webb possibly getting the Raiders job in the AFC West, and this is what he had to say.
Well, it'd be a pain in the ass for him.
But look, on one hand, and then he fires his offensive coordinator, and then they most likely he's targeting Davis Webb. So he doesn't want that to happen. So he's really mad about that whole, like, he doesn't want to lose with Davis Webb, and like I said, that says a lot about Davis Webb. I'm telling you, like, there's just a lot these little things I'll be paying attention. I'm like, man, like, a lot of people are high on him, and for him to fire a guy that he knew for 15 years plus, like, hey, I don't care. And he's the play caller. Sean Payton is the play caller. Sean Payton is a play caller, and I'm sure Lombardi helps him put the game plan together and then all that good stuff. But he wants Davis Webb to stay in the building rather than go to the Raiders and become the OC. But he had that comment, and it's just Sean Payton. I think he might be if we had to predict who could be a flag on a play, you know what I mean, nominee, like a guy that of the year. I mean, Sean Payton, he's gonna. I think he might be next year. I'm not saying. Well, this year, I guess next season.
Yeah.
Because he does little things where I'm just like, man, I don't like you. I don't like, bro. Like, and as a Raider fan, for all my old school Raider fans, when I say old school, I'm talking about like early 2000s and like, the Marty Schottenheimer time, like Marty Schottenheimer coaching the Chargers. I hated him because he hated the Raiders. And for no reason. Like, if there was no reason, he just hated the Raiders. Like Mike Shanahan, he hated the Raiders. You could understand it. Like, oh, okay, it was beef between.
Raiders owe some money. Raiders still owe Mike Shanahan money, bro. Raiders still owe to this day.
Yeah. But Sean Payton he's gonna become that coach that is hated by Raider Nation. He's gonna be, because he does little things, he says little things, like he just will do little things that were just like, why would you even do that?
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. Flag on a play on Sean Payton, man. What did you think on the comments when you heard it? I mean, did you react to it like, no big deal, or would you like?
I really don't care.
or do you think Omnicron says like the Raiders should circle this and like use this like bulletin? I mean, I don't know if you're using this as bulletin before.
I mean, like he's first of all, you don't know like what context did he necessarily mean it in. It's gonna be a pain in the ass for him. Maybe he could talk about. It could be referring to him having to play Sean Payton twice a year. That's gonna be a pain in the ass for him. So I don't know what context he said it in, but I really don't care. But people gonna talk. Talking don't mean anything, man. When you do, I won't say it doesn't mean anything, but I ain't worried about what Sean Payton, some off-cuff comments Sean Payton makes in the offseason about the Raiders. Like, I would hope that whatever coach we have, take some digs back at our competition in the AFC West, makes it a friendly rivalry. Obviously, he got rid of Lombardi, and he's going to probably attempt to try to make Davis Webb his offensive coordinator. That being said, we've all seen plenty of older cats get rid of their longtime wives for the young side piece, and they figure out that she ain't got the same kind of abilities as the wife. Like, she ain't cooking. She ain't doing, she ain't doing your laundry. She don't know how to iron no clothes. You feel me? So like, you got rid of her. You got rid of your rock. Somebody that was, for something that was new and hot, and then obviously you lose something there.
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen whether that was the right move or not. Obviously, Davis Webb is an up and coming offensive mind. He's a young guy, only 30 years old. He played quarterback recently. He's going to be a little bit closer in proximity to the players he's coaching. So he's going to have a little bit more of a rapport with them, be able to relate to them on a different level. But, you're also losing that experience. So we'll see. We'll see how that affects the team this year. They were potentially one injury away from going to the Super Bowl. So if you're just throwing that out the door, we'll see how they perform next year, and it could be a situation where this backfires on them.
Yeah, man. But we're not done yet, man. We got another flag on the play. Severe, what we got this week, man?
Yeah, man. Flag on the play. We got a little bit of fun one, man. Everybody knows about.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm gonna throw this in here because you're about to bring up the Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it was with the other one.
Oh, the other one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, the other one. Everybody knows about. Man, especially all your Bay Area fans. You guys remember Jordan Poole was with the
Warriors.
Obviously, him and Draymond had a little bit of altercation. Draymond ended up punching him, and Jordan Poole ain't been the same since. And I think some of the guys now he's with the Wizards. Some of the guys were, did he get traded? I think he did get traded. Was he in that Hawks trade?
Was that on IG? Was it on IG?
It's on Twitter. Oh no, it was on IG.
I got you.
But no, it's like they were doing a team event at a school, and kids would be kids, and some kid asked him a very, very funny question.
Oh, let me see. Hold up. Let's see. I think I might have sent that to the
the group.
Damn, I seen that Ashton Genty fit again. That is disgusting. That's disgusting.
Man, Spice Adams is a legend. Bro.
That's disgusting. But here you go, man. So this is Jordan Poole and a teammate in a classroom setting with kids, and this is what kids be saying the darndest things, man.
You used to watch when we were going to state?
But how did you feel when Draymond punched?
Oh my
God, bro.
I wish I could put this on the screen because you could tell like his teammate that was there with him, like he was trying to hold his laugh. But
he's with the Pelicans. He's with the Pelicans.
Pelicans, yeah. And the thing is too, like I said this to you earlier, I'm like, man, is it a possibility that like the parent or whoever the kid, the guardian was like, hey, you're gonna see, make sure you ask him about this. But in reality, I was like, you know what? I was like, man, I don't think that's the case. I don't think parents be like there might be one or two that might.
Yeah, I know I made a flag on the play. I made a flag on the play just because it's so funny. But the kid seemed like he had like genuine concern. He's like how did it feel when he punched you? Like how did that make you feel on the inside, Jordan?
yeah, not for real.
The teacher's like, oh my God.
But that.
Oh my God.
That's cringeworthy right there, man. But that's the power of social media, right there.
Yeah, man.
Like once something happens on social media, it goes viral, and it's like it's gonna be. They're just gonna keep replaying it so much. Even like the younger generation kids will just know exactly what happened. Like, and that's grown folk business too. That's nothing to do. Why would a kid ask that? Like that's grown. Like why would a kid ask about what happened between a grown man and Draymond, between Jordan Poole? It's because it's getting replayed over and over again to the point where kids are seeing it online on social media, which is like kind of sad, but it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, that was one of our flags. But this one, man, I can't wait to talk about this because I don't know if you've seen. If you want to check your Twitter, I think I sent you on Twitter. Bill Polian. He provided more context onto why Bill Belichick didn't get into the Hall of Fame, which is our next flag on the play. Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He did not receive the necessary at least 40 out of 50 votes. I think that's what you need in order to become for him to move forward into the Hall of Fame, and he didn't receive the necessary amount. And if you got it in front of you, you can like read exactly what was said by Bill Polian. Or if it's a video, I can go ahead and play it. But I think it's a
Bill Polian. Bill Polian got some questionable. He got some questionable. He ain't Bill Polian the same dude that said something about Lamar Jackson. Ain't he the same one?
Bro, he's a hater, bro. He's a hater. He's a hater. Definition.
All right, so it was a recent voting for the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, who's basically universally regarded as the greatest coach of all time, 6 Super Bowls, all the Super Bowl appearances, was defensive coordinator for the Giants team that went to the Super Bowl and coached LT and all this. Like, he's a legendary coach on the defensive side of the ball and as a head coach. He fell short of the votes needed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And Bill Polian, who is he was quickly climbing the ranks for Hater of the Year. The report says that Bill Polian was a vocal figure in the Hall of Fame deliberations involving Bill Belichick, with Spygate and Deflategate coming up among voters during discussions. Per a voter who spoke anonymously, Polian, the former Bills and Coach GM and longtime Patriots rival, told some voters he believed Belichick should wait a year as penance for Spygate. So my question is, are y'all about to make Brady wait a year then? Is y'all about to make Tom Brady wait? Because he was the beneficiary to all this cheating that was done. He was the primary beneficiary. So if we ain't making Tom Brady wait a year, then why are we making Bill Belichick wait a year? It don't make no sense.
And another thing too, how many Super Bowls does he have?
Yes. Well, as an assistant and as a head coach, he has like 8.
But let's say if we're just talking about him as a head coach.
Oh, he has 6.
He has 6. So did you guys subtract his Super Bowls? Did you guys take away his Super Bowls?
Exactly.
Did you guys take away all of his Super Bowls, or does he have 1 now? No, he still has 6.
Exactly.
So it just makes the Hall of Fame and the whole process very petty, super goofy. It's goofy. This is goofy. Like, there's Bill Belichick arguably is the greatest coach of all time. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, his run with the Patriots, him and Tom Brady. You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he had Tom Brady," but that combination of him and Tom Brady was going to the Super Bowl, and they're going to multiple Super Bowls and winning the majority of those Super Bowls.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like, that was this generation. I don't know who, it's Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, like, different sports.
Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. You just say whatever you want about what Tom Brady is and what he did. Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. Tom Brady will tell you himself. He said it himself. You don't have to ask a question. This ain't Severe saying it. This ain't Pharaoh saying it. This ain't. Tom Brady said it himself. Without the sessions that he had with Bill Belichick, sitting in the office, going over defenses, breaking down the game plan, showing them what defenses are doing against him. When Tom Brady lost his quarterback coach his first year as a starter because his quarterback coach passed away, Bill Belichick assuming that responsibility, taking an extra time to help mold and mentor and turn Tom Brady into the guy that he is. When you have Tom Brady sitting in film sessions and nobody on the Patriots can say a damn thing about how hard they were coached because Bill Belichick would give it to Tom Brady just as hard as he would give it to anybody else in terms of tough coaching, then you can't say anything. You can't say anything. Tom Brady is a creation of Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick is a creation of Tom Brady. Those two needed each other. Tom Brady goes to the Raiders instead of the Patriots. Tom Brady is Jeff George. He's Jeff Hostetler. He's Rich Gannon at best. He's not Tom Brady, who you know. And Tom Brady went to a team with the Buccaneers who had a stacked team, who added Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and to Leonard Fournette and to a great offensive line and to one of the best defenses we had in recent years. And they won a Super Bowl based on their defense. They were a missed extra point away, I think, against the Vikings from not even going to the playoffs that year. So don't even give me this nonsense. Oh, he went to the Bucks and he won a Super Bowl. They damn near missed the playoffs.
Right.
Damn near didn't make the playoffs. So like, and Bruce Arians is one of the best coaches we've seen in recent years as well. A Hall of Fame coach in his own right. So Tom Brady went from Hall of Fame coach to Hall of Fame coach. Bill Belichick didn't go to from Tom Brady to like Hall of Fame quarterback, and I guess Cam Newton. But Cam Newton is not a guy was going to win a Super Bowl in my opinion, and he was past his prime. So like the comparison is not even a logical comparison. Those two guys needed each other. It was fate that they ended up connecting. And that Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Drew Bledsoe came into that playoffs when Tom Brady got hurt and won the playoff game off the strength of their defense and Bill Belichick while Tom Brady was down, and he was able to recover and go up against the Rams and win a Super Bowl. But those early Patriot teams, those were carried by the defense. That was Tom Brady, hey, doing what he was supposed to do, taking care of the ball, and when the moment was needed, then he would go out there and make plays. Those early Super Bowls was Patriots defense winning those. And then Tom Brady became the Tom Brady who we all know.
Yeah, and the thing is too, man, Bill Polian is the definition of a hater, man. Bill Polian is a former GM of the Colts. And a lot of those Colts versus Patriots matchups, Brady got the better end of that, especially in the playoffs. So obviously there's a little bit of bad blood between Bill Polian, and I'm sure he probably feels with the Patriots and how they should get dinged or whatever, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, think about this, man. And this is coming from Raider fans. We don't even care about the Patriots.
Yeah.
We don't care. But at the end of the day, man, we got to call it like we see it, man. We're going to call it a flag on a play just because, we're not going to say that Bill Belichick didn't earn. He won those. He won the Super Bowl. You can't, unless you're taking away the Super Bowls away from Belichick, unless that's what we're doing, do that. But they want to ding him at the end of his career. They want to ding it in the process where, we can control this. We can control this process. So we're going to go ahead and, make you wait a year. You know what I mean? It's super petty. And for Raider fans, well, they cheated, or for some people that cheat, especially this coming from Raider fans, you guys got to remember, man, cheating is encouraged. Cheating was encouraged.
Exactly.
Matt Millen said, man, cheating was encouraged. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, see rule number 1.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So, teams will do whatever it takes to find an edge. Players, teams, they're going to do whatever it takes. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that competitive teams, competitive players, teams, they're going to find every way possible to find a competitive edge. And that was a team that won a lot of games. They won consistently, and they won at the highest level. And I'm not gonna lie, man. You can't even if you took, let's say, what are you gonna take away? 1? All right, you take away 1 Super Bowl. It's still first ballot. He had 6, and I'm only focusing on the 6 that he had as a head coach.
Exactly.
If you want to talk about his whole career as a coach, he had 8 or 9, right?
Yep.
So it's
that's what he's going in as a coach. So that should include what he did as a coordinator too. So if they want to keep him out or they want to make him wait, cool. Tom Brady should have to wait too then. But Tom Brady's already in there. Tom Brady should have had to wait as well. They didn't make Tom Brady wait.
Yeah.
They didn't say, because they can say what they want about Spygate. That was Bill Belichick. The Deflategate, that was Tom Brady. That was Tom Brady's doing. So if they want to hold Deflategate against them, then you hold that against Tom Brady because he was the one who had the guy that was deflating the footballs. He was the one that destroyed 7 cell phones when they started investigating them. He's the guy that was doing that. That wasn't Belichick doing that. So hey, look, if you want to hold that against Bill Belichick, cool, hold that against him. But then Tom Brady should have been held to that same standard, and they didn't hold him to that same standard. Yeah,
man. So it's just weird, and you knew both Bill Polian he knew that he was full of shit. You knew he knew it because he immediately was like, oh, we're gonna ding him for all the controversial cheating scandals.
Yeah,
we're gonna make him wait a year.
Yep.
He didn't even talk about his accomplishments because he can't. There's nothing to argue about his accomplishments as a head coach and his accolades because it's no brainer, first ballot. It's the greatest. There's no coach that has 6 Super Bowl wins. Exactly. You know what I mean? That's not in the Hall of Fame. So he immediately went to it's because of this cheating scandal. So we're gonna ding him a year and make him wait, and he'll be in it next year. It's that's a weird way to just. It seems pretty petty. And the fact that it's coming from Bill Polian, that's why I wanted to throw that in there. It's because Bill Polian is the one that's talking about it. It's oh, you're the guy that's saying it because you were the former GM for the Colts. Yeah. And you hate the Patriots. I see. Yeah. You hate the Patriots. At the end of the day, you gotta.
It's like they did T.O. It's how they did T.O. there's no reason at all for T.O. not to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Facts.
And the fact that they
First
made
ballot.
T.O. wait.
First
T.O.
ballot.
was top 5 wide receiver of all time. You made him wait. And I think he made him. They made him wait more than once, right? Or did he get in that second time? I know he for sure he wasn't the first ballot. Did he get in that second time? I thought they made him wait twice.
Yeah, T.O. was a diva, but so was Moss. But I guess Moss was not as vocal as T.O.
I mean, nothing that T.O. did to me was super crazy where, I don't know, or where he shouldn't have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. In my opinion.
Oh, no. Facts.
The thing T.O. did was celebrate. The worst thing he did was do sit-ups in his driveway when he was trying to get traded. Like, that's the worst thing he did. Like, come on, bro. It's like, it's nonsense.
No, but he would say he did. No, he did do a lot though. He did like do a lot. I remember he was always everything T.O. did. Like it was just like he was like he was he's not as bad as Antonio Brown, but like back then he was the Antonio Brown as far as like attention and just. Like he was going at like Jeff Garcia. He was going at Jeff Garcia. He's going at McNabb. Yeah. That's my quarterback. Like, well, that's not something.
That was Romo. That was
Romo. Yeah,
but that was like a positive thing. But people thought it was fake because it was fake. But you know, but like nothing he did, in my opinion, rose to the level that.
Oh
should have kept him not being the first ballot.
No, I agree. I agree. But I just thought it was weird though because like I thought Moss was a diva too.
Yeah.
But it was different though. He was different, more like Moss is a diva in that like his actions, like him giving up on routes, like you know what I mean. Like we seen it as Raider fans. Like
we saw it as Raiders fans firsthand, bro.
Man, it was crazy, But he wasn't as vocal as like a T.O. T.O. was a lot more like, outspoken compared to like, you know what I mean? The most famous thing that Moss said like during his diva days was like, straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie. Hey, Moss, how do you pay your fines? Straight cash, homie. When you're rich, you don't write checks. Rich people don't write checks.
Oh, man, that was hilarious. But yeah, now flag on a play on the Hall of Fame committee, man. This is a bad look, very very bad look, super petty, and it just magnifies like the whole process. It's like they can't look at it for like what someone accomplished. They want to take personal. They have personal vendettas or personal grudges or it's come on, man. But you probably what might be worse than Hall of Fame committee is probably MLB.
Oh yeah, MLB. Yeah, they dirty. Because what's
dirty?
Barry Bonds not in there. Pete Rose had to die to get in. Like, it's crazy.
Nah, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. That's the best player I've seen. That's the best player I've seen. I'm an A's fan, but I used to watch every Giants game. Him at bat, you could call home runs. Like, oh, it's a home run. And it's a good chance. Bro. Like that would be a good gamble in Vegas. Like if it was Barry Bonds was playing today and it was like Barry Bonds, I bet who if it's gonna be a home run, like there would be like a good chance that it'd be a home run. Especially
bro, they would walk Barry Bonds when the bases were loaded, bro. They would be like, you know what, we'll give up this run. We'll just give you this one run rather than let him bat. Like that's how dangerous he was, bro. And he was a Hall of Fame. Whatever you want to say about steroids, everybody was taking steroids.
Yeah.
So you can't even hold that against him.
Yeah.
And then he was a Hall of Fame player before you could even say he was using steroids. He already had a Hall of Fame resume, bro. So it's just nonsense, man. It's nonsense.
Yeah, man. They're just using him as an example. But baseball back then, it was fun though. It was fun. It was fun to watch. Yeah. It brought fans to baseball, man. If we're being honest. But salute to everybody pulling up. Make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's get to notable quotables. This is where we play a quote, and we'll react to it. And give me just a second here. I'm gonna pull it up. So actually, Severe, let the people know what the first quote is.
Yeah, for sure. Do you got this one? I think you had sent it to me.
Which one?
The max one. We was talking about the Raiders.
Let me check. Like
the
on
one.
Twitter?
But,
Oh, yeah. I do.
yeah.
Did we didn't talk about this last week?
No, we didn't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, we talked about the other thing about him, injury.
Okay.
Yeah. So, obviously the Raiders they're in the midst of their head coaching search, and we just talked about Josh Allen, the influence he had over the Bills and their decision at head coach. Obviously, Max in the past, he's kind of flexed his muscle and his influence within the organization. Essentially got AP hired. He was recently asked about this current head coaching job, and the answer was a little bit surprising.
Obviously, such a huge part of the organization. Have they kind of kept you informed and led you along in the discussions about what they're doing as far as the coach goes?
Not really. No, I haven't talked to them. So, yeah, not in the last couple of weeks. So I've just been focused on, like I said, my family and my girls and getting healthy. But yeah, I haven't talked to them in a while.
Do you maybe have a preference?
Everyone, thank you for your interviews and your interest. We got to wrap up the interviews now. Get the kids in here and start signing everything.
What would you like to see in the head coach?
We're going to have an activity outside if you want to continue capturing B-roll. But this time we're going to...
He instantly he shut that down. After that question and answer, he shut that. Whoever that was, his media guy, I don't know. Handler or public relations, whatever, PR guy, he shut that down as soon as he answered that question. Could it be a sign, that, Max and the Raiders could be going to a different direction, or, it could just be a sign that the Raiders they have a different approach to how they're going to be getting their head coach. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, Max is he had that opportunity, it was AP.
Yeah.
At that time in collaboration with Mark. I'm sure he was going to Mark and talking to him and having those conversations. But since Spytek and Brady are kind of running this whole process, and we'll get into that and how that's going too, how that process is going. But man, I don't know, man. I've said it before, and I feel like I've gotten pushback, and I know me and you kind of see eye to eye on this about like Max, and where I think that it makes sense for the Raiders to go a different direction, because this would be the last chance to get the best possible trade compensation. After this, it's just gonna go down and down and down. I mean, like it would suck to see Max go to a different team later in his career, and we're just giving up like a third or a second or like a fourth rounder or fifth rounder. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that would be tough to see. But if we can trade him this offseason and get a couple of first round picks and kind of like expedite this rebuild process, that's exactly what the Raiders need, man. It just makes sense. And the main reason, because I know we talked about this before, the main reason, I think we could both agree on this, is this: Max and the Raiders are on different timelines.
Yeah.
He wants to win right now, and the Raiders are they're content by like building this the right way, to quote Spytek. We're not gonna try to do things to win right now. We're gonna try to do things to build the team the right way, which means that they're not really in a rush. They're not gonna be doing things to like, oh man, we gotta make sure we put together a Super Bowl contender. Like, nah. We gotta build this offensive line. We gotta add some talent to this defense. We got to build around a young QB, most likely, that they're going to draft. That's going to be the priority. But when I heard the comments, I was like, yeah, technically, I mean, usually teams, when they look for coaches, they're going to go about doing it in their way. I mean, unless your name is Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? If Andy Reid left, like, I'm sure Mahomes would be talked to, because it's the quarterback. The quarterback is like the leader of the team. So I can see them kind of being consulted in who they want to bring in. But on one end, I'm not looking at it as a big deal. But on another end, it's just a reminder that, like, you know what, man, like the way he said it, the way he kind of brought it up, and the way that kind of handler just shut down the interview like that, it just like, it's almost like he's kind of like he's thinking about, hey, it's a possibility that he could be moving on. But what was your take when you first heard it?
Yeah, man. As soon as you sent me the video, I sent you with the suitcase being packed. I sent you the emoji or the gif of the suitcase being packed. It just makes the most sense, bro, for all parties, for Max to be up out of here, man. Like because you think about it like this, right? He said he hasn't talked to the team in a few weeks, right? It's not even just in terms of the coaching stuff. Max just had surgery on his knee.
Yeah.
And he ain't talked to the team. The team ain't be like, yo, Max, how's your knee feeling?
Yeah.
You're going to be ready for off-season program.
Yeah.
How's that? Any of this, bro, nothing. He ain't hurt. He hadn't talked to him at all. So it's like, bro, that tells you everything you need to know. And then you combine that with the comments that Spytek had at his basically, end of season presser where he was super non-committal on Max Crosby. And it just tells me, like, look, man, even if you're not going to like ask Max's opinion on the next head coach, you would still check on his surgery, bro. He just had surgery on his knee. Like, that's pretty vital to playing football. And then B, at least keep him abreast of what's going on. Like, yo, we're in the middle of interviews right now. Yeah, we got a few candidates. We're hoping to make a decision by this time and this time. We'll kind of see how things shake out. You ain't even got to give them a list, but hey, we've got some candidates. We've got some offensive guys, some defensive guys. A mix of younger guys, older guys. At least keep them in the loop. You ain't got to give them the details. You don't got to give them a dossier on each player with their resume or their CVV and nothing like that. You don't got to do none of that. But at least let them know what's going on. But the fact they didn't even do that, that lets me know that look, they're like, yo, bro, like, look, like it's not you, Max. It's me. It's not you, it's me. And the fact that, peep this, you want to draft a quarterback first overall, right? We understand there are so many holes on this team. And I don't think anybody here, well, maybe I won't say anybody, but most people don't think that Fernando Mendoza is like generational in terms of a quarterback prospect. We think he's the best quarterback in this class, probably maybe the best, one of the best over the last few classes. But nobody's like, oh, he's like Andrew Luck, John Elway, type generational, right?
Yeah.
We had a running back last year that people thought was generational, that thought he was the next Barry Sanders, thought he was the best running back prospect to come along since LaDainian Tomlinson, right? And the reason he didn't have success, or the people point to for him not having success, is the people around him. So now we're going to say we got a quarterback that's coming in who's still not going to have a lot around him, and we expect this guy to have some success or to have more success or to be in the best position to have success year one? No, bro, you got to put people around this dude. What's the best? You only have two really good trade assets right now that you're going to be willing to move on from, because you're not going to move on from Bowers, I doubt it. And you're not going to move on from Genty. So the only two tradable pieces you have are the number one pick and Max Crosby. Obviously, you're not going to move the number one overall pick if you believe that Fernando Mendoza is the future franchise quarterback of your team. So that leaves you with one tradable asset, and that's Max Crosby, who was oft injured, who was probably going on his 7th or 8th surgery, according to him. Finished the last 2 years since with surgeries, is about to be 30 by the time he has 2 years left on his deal. So this is the best time to trade him, because the team's going to get 2 full years of control. That gives you a nice window to possibly win. And then you have to make a decision on his contract after this year, where you risk going into that last year of being a lame duck year, and you're going to end up having to pay him likely anyway. And that value is only going to get more expensive, because it's going to probably have another guy that gets paid again. Myles Garrett just got a crazy deal. So you're going to probably have to give Max Crosby something along those lines or more. So the fact that all of that stuff is going against Max and the timelines aren't the same, that just leads, and the fact that we've still, with Max here, we've still never had a top 20 defense. So like, he's great individually, but he's not elevating the team around him. So know what you do to mitigate that? Just add more pieces. Take away one really good piece and add a few good pieces, and build your defense like that, or build your offense like that around your quarterback, whichever way you want to go. But he's not lifting all ships. So at this point, bro, you gotta move on.
Yeah, football is one of those I mean, a lot of sports, a lot of team sports is like this, but like especially football, it's not. You can't just have one person and then be okay. Like one person is not going to carry the team. The closest is maybe a quarterback, but even a quarterback needs offensive line. A quarterback needs good coaching. A quarterback needs good receivers. A quarterback needs, you know what I mean? Like even Max, he's going to get his, but at the same time, he's going to need players around him too. You know what I mean? But, and the Raiders, you know, unfortunately, they spent most of his younger prime failing him, not putting the right players around him. And now where he's approaching that, you know, 30 age, like you mentioned, the injuries is beginning to pile up. Salute to my guy, Samoa Raider says, nah, Max needs to stay and suffer with us. that might happen. You know what I mean? that might happen. It's a possibility because Spytek is big on like pass rushers. He's high on them. So there's a possibility he might find a way to just like, you know what, keep him because he doesn't like to trade away pass rushers. He's quoted to say this, but you never know. You never know. If Max wants to go a different direction, it's possible. And if the Raiders also feel the same way, it could be mutual. It's possible as well. So we'll see, man. It's a long offseason right now. The Raiders is focused on hiring their next head coach. And we got to figure that out. But we've talked about this during the season. We talked about this. And it's just different moments. It's like different moments. And it's funny. We like I was talking to you about this like beginning to see like before the trade deadline. Not to say that it should happen during the trade deadline during the season. I was just looking at where the season was going, where the Raiders were headed, and I'm like, man, the Raiders should look into this. And I would just call it a hater, this, that, and a third. And then look what happened. Fast forward, all these media pundits, all these people who know a crazy amount of football are like looking at the Raiders situation. And I'm like, dang, they need some talent, and they need to find a way to acquire more picks. Which is more picks means more younger guys on cheap contract and hopefully talented players. But I think when you say that to Raider fans, automatically they're like, oh, man, why would you trade a for sure great player for, you know, well, the goal is to get 2 players, to get 2 or 3 players, and then just keep stacking and still because you want to build a football team. If you just have Max and you have nobody else, then what are you going to like? It's like, man. But, you know,
I agree, man.
I think what it is like, you know, we're big fans of Max Crosby. He's been the face of the team. And it's just like, he's like the modern day Charles Woodson of this generation. Like, he's just super loved around Raider Nation, and they don't want to see him go. But, hey, look what happened. Look what happened with Charles Woodson. They weren't winning with Charles Woodson. You know, outside of that, after that, you know, that short run in the early 2000s, like they weren't winning, and they let him walk in free agency. And then, you know, he went out, did great things. He came back, and it is what it is. But, you know, whole different. You know, hey, we'll continue this conversation. I know it's gonna come up at some point. We're gonna hear some stuff, and you know what I mean. But we'll see, because I know that like Max is gonna want to have to get traded. In my opinion, he's gonna have to want to get traded, and I think Mark Davis has to co-sign it, because I think Mark Davis, I don't think he wants to do it.
There's one person that can get Max Crosby gone, and that's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like, Max, get up out of here. Mark Davis, come on, Mark.
Whatever you say, Tom. Whatever you say.
Mark Davis is like, oh, he ain't gonna say the damn thing to Tom. Tom will walk in like, man, trade this dude. Mark's like, all right, man. Let's go.
Whatever you say, Tom.
It is, man. You know, this ain't basketball, man. This ain't a situation where you trade one great player like that. It's going to have major ramifications. Is it going to be some ramifications? Yes, but football teams are built through like depth and having good talent everywhere, not just through one mega star player. And we're seeing that with, you know, like the Seattle, perfect example of that. Seattle is a perfect example of that.
Salute, man. Appreciate the repost by the Nation. The Nation, man, probably one of the best brands out there when it comes to Raider gear. Definitely check them out, man. It's super nice gear, man. I got a few things from them. I got to re-up those soon, man. I got to check them out again, man. I got to see what the new upcoming stuff they're going to have for the next season. Because, hey, next season I feel like it's going to be a lot more it's still early. We got to see how the offseason plays out, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more fun, more intriguing, more to look forward to next season. Because I'm not going to lie, when Pete Carroll got hired, I was just like, ugh. That was like the beginning. Last season, it was the beginning of the end for me for last Raiders season. Do we got another? We have another notable quotable.
Yeah, man. Actually, what you had posted on X.
Yeah.
Tom Pelissero was talking about, what's going on with the draft and all of that stuff.
All right, here we go. Yeah, Pelissero was talking about Clint Kubiak. He talked about Tom Brady, Clint Kubiak, and the Raiders. And this is what he had to say. Let me go ahead and play this here, man. Appreciate everybody's patience. If you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Of his next head coach, it's Clint Kubiak in that mix. Did that happen?
I was thinking two things here, Rich. One, Tom Brady is watching Clint Kubiak call an absolute masterpiece for the Seahawks. Two, wait, Tom Brady is there and Joe Brady is interviewing for the Raiders head coaching job on the same day. This is part of the odd, part of this multifaceted role that Tom Brady has. Is there's parts of the process that he's been really involved in. There's other parts, like this current round of interviews, that it sounds like he's not involved in. Clint Kubiak certainly, I believe is going to have at least one more interview. Whether or not he actually pursues a job, whether he decides to stay in Seattle, and if they make that worth his while, there's a lot of stuff to sort out. What's so amazing with Clint is, he's on his 5th different team in 5 years. He has bounced around. There was a little bit, from my understanding, that they had to kind of talk him into, hey, come to Seattle, because you can imagine a guy who's got a wife and a family. They're like, how many times are we going to do this consecutively? Well, it hit in such a big way that a guy that when the Seahawks hired him, they were certainly not thinking this guy might be one and done here as the offensive coordinator, has very much been in focus. But, the types of jobs we're down to here, Rich, may weigh on some of these things as well. This is not solely to bag on, the Browns, and obviously we've well documented their process and the number of candidates that have said no. But the Arizona Cardinals is a really, let's call it, challenging job with what they have to do and figuring out, probably eating a bunch of cash and cap on Kyler Murray, trying to find a new quarterback, figuring out all the various things of why things went wrong a year ago in a division where you're going up against McVay, Shanahan, and McDonald for the foreseeable future. That's a really difficult job. And then with Las Vegas, I just said it. I mean, you've got Tom Brady, who ostensibly is running the football operation along with John Spytek. That's directly a quote from owner Mark Davis. And yet, people come out of those interviews just going, who exactly is running the building? What exactly what am I looking at here? Tom lives in Miami. How is he co-running the football operations, from 2,000 miles away? Again, and in a really tough division where you're going up against Sean Payton, and Andy Reid and Jim Harbaugh. And then you got Cleveland, which again, we've talked a lot about that. So 3 of the 4 jobs left. I think objectively speaking, in some order, Rich, most people would have ranked out of 10 vacancies, 8, 9, 10. Then you got the Bills. That's probably number 1.
Sheesh, man.
It's a sniper rifle.
Yeah, he just came for the team. But sometimes you gotta hear that perspective, just because sometimes you might look at something as really good, a good situation, but if this is what he's hearing, but I thought it was interesting that what he says, that people are coming out of the interviews not knowing who's running the Raiders. And it's not the first time that I've heard this.
Yeah.
It's not the first time that we've heard what's this dynamic in the Raiders building? Who's calling the shots?
Yeah.
And that's been a question. Now, I know Mark Davis, he put out that presser after, Pete Carroll was let go, saying that, Tom Brady's going to work in collaboration with Spytek. But I mean, it is kind of a strange, what is the setup? You know what I mean? Because I do believe that Tom Brady has a big say in that building, but then at the same time, it is kind of strange that he's doing that, and he's an announcer. You know what I mean? He's a commentator, and he lives in Miami. He's not even in Vegas, so he's not even in the same city, not in the same building. He's not even, it is kind of strange in that way. So that's why, like, I'm all in on Spytek having just let him do his job. And then every time to time, Tom Brady, if Spytek needs some ideas to bounce off, then yeah, okay, go ahead and talk to Tom. You know, talk to Brady. But when if you're gonna be making big decisions and you're not even in the building and you're not constantly there and you're not like, it's just strange. You know what I mean? So, but you know, I mean, what was your take when you heard Pelissero talking about the Raiders and the whole situation?
Yeah, man, it's just that, you know, the Raiders have painted themselves into this corner. And, you know, we've talked about it for years now. I've talked about it since we fired Josh McDaniels. When you handle coaches and the front office position like the Raiders have handled it, it just creates an aura of uncertainty around you as an organization. And when you have a minority owner who's supposed to be running things who isn't on the job 24/7, you have a majority owner who constantly meddles and wants to get involved. You have a GM who was essentially neutered last year by a 74-year-old man who was walking all over him. Like, when you have all of these things happening, then that just creates uncertainty around you as a team. And nobody wants to walk into a situation where things are uncertain. Like, and so that creates the opportunity for a Denver Broncos and for, you know, Sean the Snake Payton to keep Davis Webb from going there. That creates a situation where Clint Kubiak can play hardball with you and you know, maybe make some demands and try to extract some concessions out of you as a team because they understand you're between a rock and a hard place, and you know, you're looking for a coaching candidate. That creates all of that stuff. So, like, you know, like, past this prologue sometimes, and what you do previously, that can have ramifications, or, you know, likely will have ramifications in the future. So how people get rid of Josh McDaniels, Josh Smith's dumbass, and Josh Smith's yada. Okay, that's all well and good. People remember that. Coaches remember that. Agents remember that. Oh, AP, you know, he wasn't unqualified. He didn't know how to clock manage and all that. Okay, all right. People remember that. Coaches remember that. Oh, Pete Carroll, get him out of here after 1 year. He's old. He's washed up. Nobody. Okay, people remember that. People remember all of this stuff, bro. So like us being 8th, 9th, or 10th, and likely 9th or 10th on the list in terms of coaching opportunities, bro. That says a lot right there. And the only reason the Browns are even there, really, is because they're making people write essays. Like, if the Browns weren't making people do a personality test and write an essay, the Browns probably would have a job already. But they're making candidates come in and take a personality test and write an essay. Not nobody trying to do that, bro. It's grown men. Ain't doing homework.
Right.
But so that's the only reason. That's one of the main reasons they're having, and the fact that I hear that whoever gets the head coaching job there, they want Jim Schwartz to stay on as defensive coordinator. So that's creating a little bit of difficulty where they might end up having to promote Schwartz to their head job. But but how we've handled the position of head coach recently, that creates all the dynamics that are at play right now. How we've handled the front office and the decision making for the organization, that creates everything that's at play right now. So the fact that Tom Brady isn't full time, nobody knows who's making decisions. Nobody knew who drafted Ashton Genty. Nobody knew for sure who hired Chip Kelly. We all knew who hired Brendan Carroll. If we know for damn sure it wasn't Chip. But all these other decisions, like, nobody had any, like, nobody really knew, right? Who drafted this draft class? Who signed these free agents? We had an inkling who it was, but there was always that uncertainty. And when there's that uncertainty, nobody knows who's the boss in the room or who they're going to answer to. That just creates an environment that people do not want to go to, because when all that's uncertainty and you're the new guy in the room, then all a finger is going to end up pointing to you.
No, facts. And the thing is too, like, the Raiders have a very different setup compared to other teams, because obviously they want to like. And this is all because you got to point at the end of the day, you got to point to the guy that's setting up this whole dynamic, and that's Mark Davis. Like, instead of just hiring, Tom Brady, he decided to sell him a piece of the team. And the reason why I say that is because this is what he wanted him to be. he wanted him to oversee the football operations of the Raiders. That's what he wanted him to do. That was his goal. And the way he felt like he can make it happen for sure was to sell a piece of the team to Tom. But oh man, it's just a weird situation where it's different. Like, for example, a good example, former quarterback who's handling or he's overseeing football operations, he actually got a job this offseason. The Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan. He didn't get sold a piece of their team. He got hired as president of football operations. So it's a level of accountability too.
Maybe if Matt Ryan didn't blow a 17-point lead, he would have got sold a piece of
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Maybe when you win 7 Super Bowls, you know what I mean? It comes with its perks. So yeah, so I get it. I get it. But all I'm saying is it's a completely different situation. And to your point, with the Raiders having their dysfunctions, firing coaches, the constant instability, and then on top of that, you combine it with a situation that is not really. It's not like I don't think what situation is similar to what the Raiders got going on as far as their power structure. They got
none that I can think of.
So they're gonna have a head coach. They obviously have a GM, but an owner. You know what I mean? A minority owner is basically a president of football operations. He has like a president of football operations type role, but he's a minority owner. I don't think there's any team in the league. So everybody's kind of like, what is going on? And he's a commentator. So that's why it's just adding to like people questioning. But at the end of the day, it won't matter. Once the Raiders hire their coach, hopefully it's Kubiak, in my opinion, to answer some people's questions. Like right now, I would rather lean towards Kubiak just because he's a good play caller. He's on the up and up. He's been a coordinator. There's a track record of success that you can point to, even though there might be some like risk involved. But if it was between Davis Webb or Kubiak, then I'll probably give the edge to Kubiak. Yeah. But if they go ahead and do that, then hey, look, they got the number one candidate. That was the number one guy. So
they're number one guy. Yeah.
So to speak to some people's point in the chat, shout out to them. They're like, hey, the national media is hating. The national media is over here hating, talking about how the Raiders are doing, because
I don't think national media is hating, and we got to get out. And that's the one thing Raider fans got to get out of that. That like. Because I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Like, we both started off as fans. And when I was a fan, I used to fan out. I used to, everything the Raiders did, I would defend. And that's how I got into the IB Buzz and the Contra Costa Times, RaiderNews.com, and I was on About.com and the Raiders blogs. I was doing all this stuff, defending everything the Raiders did.
Right.
And every year the Raiders sucked. Yeah. Every year I'll be, oh man, but this. So like we gotta stop with the everything the Raiders do. Everybody's hating, bro. It's not if I tell you that you suck at basketball, you go out and put up terrible performances nightly. It's not me hating on you. It's just you just suck. It's just the reality. So when people say that the Raiders are dysfunctional and nobody wants to coach here, when you had a last cycle, literally people turned down interviews. Told us don't call me because I don't want that to publicly embarrass you, or like that just lets you know where you are as an organization. Do we need to rectify it? Or are we making steps toward rectifying that? Yes, but like we have yet to do it. We thought the Pete Carroll move, like, and that was supposed to build us some credibility because we're bringing in this guy that has a winning history and builds winning cultures. But like that, even that was a fool's errand because. Like, you just can't transform a team that's been this bad overnight in 1 year. Like, it's going to take a long time. And when you're 74 years old, you don't have the energy to do it. Like, you just no longer have the energy. That's why I said last year, the guy I said last year we should have hired was Michael LaFleur. The guy I said this year we should hire is Michael LaFleur. Are we going to hire Michael LaFleur either year? Probably not. Are we going to be looking for another coach next year? Hopefully not. Because hopefully we don't hire somebody that's a septuagenarian, right? We don't hire somebody that's in their 70s. But like right where we are right now, it's a lot of heavy lifting that needs to be done, and we have to get somebody in the building that understands the task at hand. We have to have ownership and people in decision making with decision making power to empower that person and give them the time to turn this thing around and not just hit the eject button as soon as we see the first sign of trouble. Because we keep saying people are hating on us, but it's not hate. We're just not good. We haven't made good decisions, and we keep putting ourselves in this position where we think we're supposed to be better than we are, but we're not. And us thinking we're supposed to be better than we are, and as a fan base, us thinking we're supposed to be better than we are, we keep saying, well, he's not winning immediately, so we got to get somebody in here that's going to win. Like, no,
right? You
got to give them the time to get to where we're in a position to actually start winning, to build the infrastructure of a staff and of a front office and of a team, and have some depth and get some draft classes where, okay, now if a guy goes down, we're not just grabbing some free agents we just grabbed off the street. We're not having Will Putnam play center, or we're not having Alex Kappa having to play center, or we're not grabbing Charles Snowden because, we put ourselves in these positions. So it's going to take time to dig ourselves out of this hole. But as a fan base, we have to understand, we're going to suck. And us sucking is not just media hating on us and people saying we're in a bad spot. It's not people hating on us. It's just, bro, we haven't won a playoff game in 20 something years. We haven't won a Super Bowl in damn near 40. That's not.
No, I agree.
Hating.
I agree. I think the Raiders sucking made me into a better, more realistic fan, I guess, if you want to talk about it. It made me more realistic about what was going on. Because at some point you got to be like, hey, we're not winning football games. We're not winning on a consistent basis. We're constantly firing people, and then you start looking at all the good teams and seeing the moves that they make, and you're noticing a pattern of oh, okay, when they have consistency and some stability, they tend to build good teams. They tend to win more games. They tend to go to the playoffs. But, I do think there's biases. Yeah. So I do see some biases. There are people in the media that do hate. I'm not going to act like they don't. But as far as the Raiders and what they do, I'm not going to hold back and say, it's anybody's fault but their own. I mean, they're firing coaches left and right every year. They're firing GMs. To me, it's even a way bigger impact than just the coaches, or if you want to put them hand in hand. But I just think a GM would have a really good idea of where the roster is at, and they'll be able to scout the team a lot better. But if you're firing a GM, that means you got to start that whole process over. They got to get their scouts in the building, and they're going to have to figure out, literally Spytek, he just had a whole year where he was like, oh, okay, this is where the Raiders are at. The whole messaging was completely different. I mean, he was low-key kind of saying last offseason that, we got to build this thing right. But with his head coach, at the time,
10 wins.
I got 10 wins. We're gonna try to win. We're going for it. Hey Max, go. Hey Max. Hey Max, go tell the guys. Go tell the boys. Maybe send a message. But real quick, man, I appreciate LS man with the super chat. He says Tom didn't want to be hired. Tom will make all the credit if this succeeds and none of the blame if it fails. Tom took advantage of Mark's desperation. Facts.
Yeah, man.
That's the thing.
That's the story of our lives.
You know how I knew that's what Mark. That's how Tom wants it to be, is because he didn't want to know. He didn't want to let people know what he was doing. He didn't want to be attached to any. It's even to this day, it's hard for him to come out and just say, "Oh, I'm with the Raiders and I'm trying to help them win. I'm trying to help them make the right now we're kind of seeing him kind of attaching himself by we're going to try to build a winner and we're going to try to get the right guy in the building." I think I seen a recent interview after a game that where they were talking to him real quick. But it was just a moment in time where I'm like, man, why don't you want to attach yourself to the Raiders? It's almost like you don't even want to you don't want the attention from all the bad things that can possibly happen. You just want the credit when the good things to LS point. But it is what it is, man. Right now the Raiders need to focus on getting the right coach in the building and building out the staff, and then from there it's free agency. We're gonna have plenty of time to talk about it. Hopefully we'll find out some good news the next couple of days. As far as if it's Davis Webb, it will probably be soon. If it's not Davis Webb, hopefully we hear news of Kubiak getting interviewed and report by Adam Schefter that Kubiak has, promised the Raiders that he'll be the next head coach officially. You know what I mean? That's they can't sign anything. He can't sign anything until after the Super Bowl, which would be so ugly.
Vance Joseph
would be so ugly if he did some weird Josh McDaniel type move, like
bro.
I would hate that dude for life, man.
We will be so screwed, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, we will be so screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Josh McDaniel, I think he accepted to be the Colts head coach until he changed his mind and then went back.
It changed his mind. Look, in Josh McDaniel's defense, he had a meeting with Jim Irsay. I think he went to dinner. He was like, yo, this dude is weird. It's like, I'm cool. He's like, I'm cool, man. I'm good.
Damn.
So in his defense, but still though, that's still a snake move to accept the job and then and then like back out last minute. But that's what I keep telling people, man. People keep thinking this is the thing we were saying when like Josh McDaniels got fired and then after AP, this job is 1 to 32. It's only so many people in the world that can be call themselves an NFL head coach. So, bro, but that only gives you access to a certain pool of people. The cream of the crop, which is who you want, those people are looking for exclusivity. They're looking for the best opportunities, the premium places. You don't want somebody that's just willing to take the job because it's 1 to 32 or because it's hey, I get to be an NFL head coach. It's only so like that's not what you want. You want you want to make yourself a destination franchise where people are lining up like, yo, man, I want to go over there. You want to make yourself like the quarterback job in Indiana, right? Where it's like Curtis Work. Oh man, he goes to like people want to go there now. Like if they seen what Curtis Work did and they seen what Fernando Mendoza did, they're like, well, damn. Like these guys had talent and they went there and they capitalized and they put their name out there and they're on a national stage winning. Okay, man, I want to go there. So now, Josh we were talking about Brandon Sorsby. Like, man, Brandon Sorsby needs to go to Indiana, man. Like that would be a great spot for him to go because that's gonna you want the Raiders job to be that for head coach. Like, man, I'm gonna go to the Raiders. I know they're gonna spend money. I know they're gonna draft well, and that's what you want your franchise to be. You want to be like, well, hey man, it's only 32, man. What you gonna do? You want to be a coach? Like that's not the position you want your franchise to be in because you run into situations where Ben Johnson said, "Don't talk to me. Please don't ask me for an interview. I don't want to embarrass you." Todd Monken never answered the phone. Liam Cohen left us on red, right? Like these were the top candidates in the last cycle. These were the people that were supposed to be the top guys. These people didn't want to have anything to do with us.
No, facts.
Nothing to do with us. So like just because you're 1 of 32, like that is not a great thing because what that means? That means there are 31 others at some point in time that they can go to instead of you.
Yeah, facts, man. If you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, here we go, man. What's real, what's not, man? What we got this week for what's real, what's not? This is where we say statement. Y'all react to it and let us know if it's real or it's not. So what's the what's real, what's not statement this week?
What's real, what's not? What's real, what's not? This is really, it's one of two, man. It's one of two. The what's real, what's not is this week is the Raiders' next head coach is coaching in the Super Bowl. The Raiders' next head coach is coaching in the Super Bowl. Is that real or is that not? That means it's only one guy you can think.
I know, but I have to think about it. Does he choose to stay with Seattle? Does he choose to stay with Seattle? That's the question. And the fact that we haven't heard nothing like official, and I know the only thing that we can point to is that the Raiders are targeting Clint Kubiak. So the Raiders, they want Kubiak. I agree with that. Like, I know that's who they want, but does Kubiak want the Raiders? We haven't heard anything. We haven't heard any interview set up. We haven't heard anything. Even Adam Schefter, when he's talking about the coaching candidates, he doesn't even mention Kubiak as even an option or a candidate. The few times that he was able to talk about candidates about the Raiders. So he doesn't even, there's nothing. So Man, you know what? I'm gonna say it's not real, man. I'm gonna say not real. I think it's gonna be Davis Webb. The next head coach for the Raiders is gonna be Davis Webb. Even though I know the Raiders want Kubiak, I just think that Kubiak just goes back to Seattle. Let me see what people are saying in the chat, man. Who you got?
I'm going to say, like I said, I was never really high on Davis. I for damn sure wasn't high on Davis Webb. You know, I understand if they make that move, because you're looking at, you know, a guy growing into that opportunity and what he would be in the future. So I wouldn't like it, but I understand it. I wasn't super high on Kubiak either. A lot of people point to him. Like I said, he's a guy that I wasn't super high on either. But the fact that we've waited this long, we had that meeting last night with Davis Webb, that the owner, whoever it was, I'm assuming is Tom Brady, maybe it's Egon, maybe it's Durden, I don't know who it was, but some of the owners flew in. Maybe it was Mark. They flew in to meet with the guy, and a contract wasn't, you know, consummated last night. They didn't agree last night. It leads me to believe they're still waiting, and they still haven't seen what they wanted to see yet. So I think they're targeting Kubiak, and I don't think if there wasn't any mutual interest between the two parties, that the Raiders would be waiting. I think if it was between Kubiak and Webb, and they're getting any kind of inkling from Kubiak that he might get cold feet or that he may just end up staying in Seattle, then I think they would just go ahead and go whoever the second candidate was, and I'm assuming that second person is Davis Webb. So the fact that they're still waiting for him at the detriment, you know, to the team, and with all the other things we talked about previously in terms of losing out on potential staff, losing out on opportunity to, you know, identify the scheme you're going to be in, so which hurts you in terms of your scouting. Like, the fact that they're still waiting for Clint Kubiak leads me to believe that Clint Kubiak is the guy that they want, and that there is mutual interest between the two parties.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I'm just going off like, yeah, I know that they want them, but at the same time, like, I don't know if it's reciprocal. Like, I don't know if Kubiak is interested. And I know what you're saying. You're saying that they wouldn't be interested if Kubiak actually gave him a strong, but like, he hasn't given. That's the thing though. He hasn't given him a strong, you know, answer that he's gonna be their guy. Because a strong answer would be like, hey, like, let's set up another, you know, interview, a second interview, which the Raiders can interview him. Like, they interview him in time. So they should be able to get another interview with Kubiak, even though he's still, you know, in the playoffs. So they still can interview him, and then find out from that interview if he's interested. So I don't know, man. I just think, like, I hope, you know, I would rather go with Kubiak. He feels like a little bit more safer compared to Webb. But Webb seems like a guy that they're really intrigued by, but it's just like I said, it's boom or bust. They're going early on him because he hasn't had an opportunity to become a coordinator. He has an opportunity to showcase if he's a good play caller. All they know that is that, like, they like his ability to coach young quarterbacks and his potential to possibly be a head coach of a football team.
Yeah.
That's what they're going off. So it's just like, man, man, you risking it with Webb, but I don't know, man. I just think Kubiak, if he would have gave him a strong answer, then I don't know, man. They would have set up an interview. There's no interview. Like, a lot of the insiders, you know, a lot of these guys, I think NFL teams are doing a good job of, like, not giving away. I don't know what's happened over the years, but doesn't it feel like we're not getting a lot of information like we used to? It just felt like we used to hear rumors. At least, I guess, at least with the Raiders, Raiders, man, we don't get nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be random. Back in the day, we used to get all, like, we would figure out stuff like months before it happened or weeks before it happens. Now it's just,
yeah. I was gonna, you know, you gotta look at the people who are covering the team. I think that part that goes into it. You know,
man,
you know,
your boy.
You got playoff for Rajon.
Rajon.
Rajon out here. Some of the information ain't reliable, man. You know, some of the information ain't reliable.
Rajon just he just good at just he know how to connect. He makes sure he's connected to every rumor.
Look, I said that from the beginning. And you was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what you mean. And what? Ever since then, you've been peeping it too. He was like, bro, this is what he does.
I've been new about like what? Oh, day one. I remember because it was the what annoyed me. It was that what year was it? I think it might have been the year of when we got Devontae. And the year that we thought that the corner was coming to the team. It was the defensive player of the year corner from the Patriots. He played with the Colts. No, he played with the Colts. He played with the Patriots.
Not Marshawn Lattimore. Damn, I was tripping. Damn it.
He played with I think he might have played with the Panthers too. He might have played with the Panthers.
He played with the
Cowboys. Played with the Cowboys.
Stephon Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Marshawn Lattimore. That's old school.
That was the last straw for me. That whole situation. I was like, what? Man, you know what I'm talking about too.
Well, what it was with me, I already peeped it because there was certain stuff they were saying before, like about certain players on the team, about how they're gonna be used and stuff like that. But what peeped it with me was like, it was the year it was Tyrann Mathieu.
Oh, that was the same year. The same thing.
Okay, it was like, it's like there's a player.
Yeah,
I was telling everybody, this is the formula where they'll say something, make it vague enough, but they're specifically vague. Well, man, I could be like, man, they've got a coach. He's a coach that, hey, he's been on a lot of people's radar, and he hasn't had a job yet. He's interviewed in a few spots, and they haven't come to quite the agreement that they want yet. But he has a lot of mutual interest between him and the Raiders, and they're just waiting for the right time to consummate the deal. And when it happens, I think Raider fans, they're going to be really excited. I said a whole bunch, and I was very specific, but that could apply to any candidate we've looked at.
Right.
Anybody we've looked at. So, and that's what you do. You just throw that out there, and after the fact, you're like, remember that candidate I told you about? This was the guy. That was the guy I talked about, and I knew Raider fans.